I see as well.
There's like a 10-second delay too, so you can't talk right away.
Okay, you guys are good.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us on today's live chat. I have with me the creative director of the Dragon Age 2 franchise, Майк Лейдлоу.
Hi, Erica.
Hi.
How's things?
Good.
Good.
This is a big day.
Yeah, it is. I mean, seeing the announcement go out last night, you know, I was watching Twitter and everything, some pretty positive reactions. I think that, you know, coming out after Legacy, a lot of people are like, okay, well, if it's another one of those, yeah, I'm in, sign me up. And, you know, I figured, you know, you guys said, well, what if we did like a live chat? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it because there's going to be some questions.
Yeah.
This may, you know, hopefully it'll be archived, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
You'll be able to watch it on the Pulse?
For sure.
Okay, good. Then what we'll do is, this hopefully will be something people can refer back to and you know, you guys can kind of look at it and go, okay, cool, that's some of the answers I'm looking for.
Yeah, so we're taking questions live now, so tweet us at Dragon Age and we'll hopefully get to your question.
The Twitter's like right down there.
Yes, we have it here. So, did you want to take some questions or shoot to the video?
I think let's you get a closer look at Talus, of course, the character played by Felicia Day, and just kind of, you know, how she animates and that kind of stuff. Some neat stuff there. Won't be a lot of action, no spoilers. Well, very, very tiny spoilers, and that'll be kind of fun as well.
So we'll start with the first question from Timojin. He asks, do you have to get the prior DLC in order to make this one work?
Oh, yeah, that's a good... So, do I need Legacy in order to play Mark of the Assassin? Absolutely not. Just like Legacy, Mark of the Assassin syncs right in with your main game, and also like Legacy, you can play it at any time after you've arrived at Kirkwall. So as long as you have access to Gamlen's house or your house, another big bronze thing's going to be showing up. Click on it, begin the Legacy, takes you to a flashback, essentially, of an event that happened. And like Legacy, it'll be kind of reacting to when you go in the story, especially like if you take your siblings, are they in the Circle, are they Templars, and so on. And I think that'll you know, help it sync nicely into the story, even if you're near the beginning or already at the end.
Awesome. Okay. And then Penguinish wants to know how many minutes of gameplay do you think Mark of the Assassin will be?
I don't remember offhand. I will say that my impression, because, you know, it's actually got a fair chunk of side stuff, is that it's a bit longer than Legacy. So, you know, I've spent more time in there. There's a couple of really fiendish puzzles where you're just like, okay, I need to figure this one out. That can keep you in. If you're not a puzzle guy, it's going to be a little bit faster, of course. You know, but that's the kind of variability of experience we're looking for.
Awesome. And Nick Ringer, he wants to know when the Dragon Age 2 storyline, when in the storyline does Mark of the Assassin begin?
Again, like Legacy, you can pick it up at kind of, you know, in the first years. You can pick it up when you're already champion. There'll be reactions according to that based on you know, when you decide to play with it. So anytime really during the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you want to take a few more?
Yeah, let's do one more, and then we'll take a look at a quick video, let some people kind of see Talus in action, and then, you know, we'll come back and see if anything else comes out of that.
Alive to Play wants to know, will Talus be a permanent party member like Sebastian?
That's a really good question. Really want to make sure you guys know this. For Mark of the Assassin, Talus is kind of constrained in a lot of ways by the story and by her character, and so she is only in the party for the duration of Mark of the Assassin. She doesn't come back and join you in Kirkwall. There's a number of reasons for that, which, you know, the game will kind of explain. But ultimately, she's kind of like a premier character for this. She kind of provides the rogue experience for you, but we didn't want to have her kind of coming back in the main game. It would, in certain situations, it would be exceedingly awkward. Let's put it that way.
Leggy Willow wants to know, is the DLC entirely focused on Talus, or do we learn more about Hawk and the Wardens?
Oh, good question. So this one isn't Warden focused. That was Legacy's thing. I think that there's a fair amount of Hawk. There's some extra stuff for certain characters and backstory, as I noted on our BioWare social network last night. If you can think of anyone who has some connections to Orlais, chances are they're going to be in some way related. And there's actually a fair amount of stuff about the Canary, and that's something that we haven't really dug in on some of their inner workings, and this is a neat opportunity for that. So expect some revelations there, a couple of surprises near the end that I think will make people go, wow, that's not what I expected.
think I went so many questions. We're supposed to go.
All right, so let's take a look. We're going to dive in. Kind of, this is nice and early in the campaign. It's kind of where you meet Talus and where she kind of presents the Hawk, and you get to see a very, very cool animation where she kind of explains what you're up against. And I think you guys will dig it because it's a very DA2 style. So we're going to roll it.
You think the pros would be better at this? You've been doing it for ages.
Interesting entrance. You have some fine moves.
I do, don't I? My name is Talus, and I've been looking for you.
Looking for me?
Looking for the man who has an invitation to Chateau Haine, to be specific.
Oh, that's what Edge was on about. You remember? Duke Prosper, the one who fawned all over you at the Champion of Kirkwall banquet. He talked about a hunt.
I doubt I'd go to such a thing.
I was hoping you'd reconsider. The Duke is a delightful host, or so I hear.
Let me guess. This isn't just a social call.
I need to relieve him of something he has no right to possess. And I can't do it alone.
You want to rob him?
Well, stealing from Orlesians is never wrong. Or so I've been told.
I like where this is going.
So, tell me, what exactly is it you want to steal?
A jewel. The Duke thinks it's valuable, and it is. Just not in the way he believes. What's more, he shouldn't have it in the first place. He who wishes to walk on water must first learn to swim. Come with me to Chateau Haine. I'll explain everything on the way. If nothing else, you get fine wine and fancy company. But I hope you want more than that. The jewel we're after is called the Heart of the Many.
Interesting name.
Interesting jewel. All I care about is getting it away from the Duke. Here's the problem. The heart is in a vault, behind who knows what kind of traps. Protected by a private army of Orlesian chevaliers. All inside a fortress that was designed to be impregnable. And let's not forget, it's on the side of a mountain, in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by monsters.
And Justice, dears Prosper, when is this going to get started?
Presently. All right, everyone. You'll know the tradition, yes? The first to find and slay a wyvern wins the honors of the evening. And bragging rights, of course. Good luck to you all.
I think you want to move. Now.
Ah, the champion of Kirkwall. These are honored guests.
All right, we're back. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Obviously not a lot of action there, but a neat bit of story setup. I think Erica's going to dive back in with more questions.
Yeah, so keep the questions coming at Dragon Age on our Twitter feed. So Killer O Kings wants to know, could you explain Talus's fighting style?
Sure. Talus is actually a different fighting style than your standard rogue. She uses daggers, but when we looked at some of the fighting styles she was doing in Redemption, she did a fair amount of throwing as well. So we want to experiment with a new kind of hybrid style where on the fly she'll switch between ranged and melee attacks when she's kind of engaged with any enemy. So she evaluates the range at which she's at and will start throwing daggers, but if they get close, she'll move to the standard rogue attacks. A lot of these were actually mocap with Felicia herself, which was kind of fun. She got in the suit, had a blast doing it. And so we were trying to get some of the distinctive stuff she had. As well, she has access to the full range of rogue abilities. She's not an archer, obviously doesn't need to be, but she has backstab and eviscerate and all those kind of abilities, as well as her own tree, which is kind of tied to her role in the game and gives her some very strong abilities against mages. So she can hunt down, rogue enemy sorcerers. She can shut down guys. Kind of apply what we traditionally call a silence effect. So she's very versatile. When you get her in the party, like the other DA2 followers, her stats are spent, but you can kind of assign her points as you see fit. Build her up to be, kind of acting
know, stealth gameplay probably favors the rogue. What if Hawk is a warrior or mage? Any new stuff for those classes too?
Right. So for Legacy, one of our goals was to do a bit of an experiment. Looking at the feedback coming out of DA2, and just general principles, we want to make sure that there's more ways to resolve conflict than just fighting. With DA2, we leaned too heavily on the fighting. There were some persuades. You could have Evelyn, lift the guardsman up by his throat and stuff. That's very fun. But at the same time, being able to sneak around a bunch of guards is kind of classic rogue gameplay. So we wanted to focus on this for Mark of the Assassin because Felicia's character is stealthy and a rogue, and that's kind of her thing. And our big goal was to kind of do, not a prototype, but kind of the first steps towards what if we approach stealth not like a mode that just makes me kind of invisible and everyone ignores me even if I hid right in front of them, but we actually built gameplay specifically for the experience of being stealthy. Guards who are patrolling, guys who spot you, hidden treasures you can break into if you're willing to take extra risk, that kind of feel. The one thing that I think is worth noting is that it's not a complete implementation of where we'd want to take it full term. But we realized we had an opportunity here, a chance to do kind of a heist, to sneak in and say, all right, let's do the basics. And if that's well received, if we get really good feedback, if people say, oh wow, I love that I had a choice between fighting or sneaking, which I think is cool, then we'll do that more. And so we're looking forward to seeing people's thoughts on it once they actually get their hands on it. It's not simple, but it's relatively kind of first steps implementation, and if it goes over well long term, I would like to have some exclusive content for each class, whether that's entering the Fade for a mage or something specific for the warrior experience, to kind of make it feel like, well, by picking this class or by choosing to have them in my party, I'm making a choice not just in terms of combat and tactics, but also in terms of how the story can play out. So that's really why it's there, is a chance for us to get your feedback on how this first implementation of stealth in a different approach plays.
So make sure you share that feedback with us, because obviously it matters a great deal.
Yep.
So will Talis have certain friendship rivalry bonuses?
Because she's only in Mark, we didn't push into the straight up friendship and rivalry. There are different approaches you can take to Talis and to the objective she's hoping to achieve, and that will result in some differences in the gameplay, some kind of key choices. But because it's not a long-term relationship, we wanted to make it. It would be very artificial to get 100 rivalry just for making a single choice. That doesn't fit with what we're trying to do with the rivalry friendship system.
Yeah. And a couple of questions from our forums. So what is the new monster that we're seeing in the trailer?
Yes. So the Duke, who you got the briefest of glimpses of in the footage, is in an area of the country that's kind of infested by wyverns. And that's what that creature is. They're related to dragons. They fight over the same territories. They don't fly, so they're a very different creature, and they offer some very different combat experiences. But you do get a chance to fight them, more than one, in fact, and get to see them and kind of deal with their fighting style. So that'll be pretty exciting, I think.
We actually got one for you personally from Peachy Ann. She wants to know, who is your favorite character?
My favorite character. I'll be frank, I think I have a soft spot for female rogues. I love Liliana out of Origins. She might actually be my all-time favorite. Out of the DA2 crew, I think it's Isabella, but I should qualify that and say it's Isabella because of her relationship with Aveline. Those two are absolutely amazing in the way they grow and they develop, and they have that kind of rivalry amongst themselves that grows into this kind of good-hearted friendship. And just Isabella, what I love is that you think she's going to be this airheaded sexpot, and she ends up being really strong, really kind of self-determined, and not, flaky like you'd expect. Unless, of course, you aren't friends with her, in which case, a little flaky.
Is that like asking to pick which one of your kids is your favorite?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, you grow to love the characters over the time you spend with them, right? And that's really the goal. And I think that, the DA2 crew did a good job of saying, well, I love and I hate, and, some people love Meryl, some people hate Meryl. And for us, that's way